Lifting plan. As a HSE professional, you always have to prepare a lifting plan for any crane operation, and you should must know what are all the contents of the lifting plan and how to prepare it, and what are all these things you have to consider when you are preparing a lifting plan. So in this video, I am going to discuss in detail about all these things. My name is MS Akhtar. I have a 35 years of experience in Middle East and in the major mega hydrocarbon projects. So I'm sharing now my experience and knowledge so that you can become a competent HSE professional. So this knowledge is very important to know the planning and executing safe and effective lifting operation. Why lifting plan matters? Because safety and precision is very important in any heavy lifting. You have to do first risk management. The factor is risk management, which crane lifting operations pose very high risk. It is very useful and very necessary for any of the construction projects. But if it is not planned properly, and then it can result in accidents, serious injuries, catastrophic component equipment damage, and then it can cause costly project delay, because any equipment if get damaged, or then it has a spiral effect on the project. So with the proper planning of the safe operating safe crane lifting, the safety assurance is possible. So proper planning ensure local stability, load stability, prevents dangerous overload, because at a particular configuration, you all know that crane lifting capacity not depend on the rated capacity but on the different configuration. For example, at what radius it is operating, what lifting slings they are using, and the angle, the operating angle, and the swing area, the weather condition. So all these things contribute to the lifting capacity of the crane. So through the proper planning, you can ensure the safe work zone and keep personnel safe from falling objects, can if due to any failure of any of the components. So complete a tandem lift multiply operational complexity. Tandem lift, as you know, when we are using two crane, it is a tandem lift, more than one crane. So normally two cranes must work in perfect synchronization. It should move how it is lifting, and during the lifting plan, you are planning in which crane, what load and which type of load is coming. So two crane must work in perfect synchronization, synchronized harmony to avoid catastrophic failure and load dropping incident. So, single crane lifting operation, the core components of the single crane is load analysis. What load you are going to lift? First thing, precise calculation of exact load, dimensional measurement, and center of gravity location are fundamental to safe lifting operation. So, with this, maybe it is a big precast, or it's a big equipments, whatever it is, you have to. The load analysis is very important. Based on this, you have to decide which crane you are going to use, because at where you have to park the crane, and at what angle and what radius it is going to operate. So what is the boom length specification and working radius capability precisely to the lifting requirement and site constraints. Okay, so site constraints means ground condition, and where has to be parked. Maybe outside the lifting this pipe track, you have to park your crane, and at what operating radius it is going to operate. That crane is going to operate. Then the rigging equipment, select certified slings, rated capacity, rated shackles. What type of shackles we have to use at a proper lifting points, An engineered spreader beam, if it is required, with adequate working load limits for load transfer. Where have to which point it is going to take the load. Then the environmental assessment, monitor critical factors including wind speed limit, ground bearing conditions, and comprehensive site layout analysis for obstacles. So where at the swing radius and the swing path, you have to see that if it lift, where it has to be moved, and whether the swing radius and swing path is clear or not. Then the last one is the team coordination. Assign qualified operators, competent lifting supervisor, and establish clear hand signal what type of. So during the meeting, you can explain this man will give signal. So they will coordinate that this signal means this. Even though it is repeated, everybody knows because there is some standard signage as is there, but it has to be coordinated and explained during the meeting. So single crane lift step-by-step planning process is, as I have explained in the last slide, that load calculation, calculate precise load weight, determine center of gravity using engineering drawing and manufacturer specification. The second is the crane selection, select appropriate crane with adequate lifting capacity and operational reach for the straight load requirement. I have already explained what factors it is be considered when you are selecting a crane. Then the rigging preparation, thoroughly inspect and prepare all rigging equipment, shackles or slings, what type of slings, what capacity of the sling, because slings capacity depends on what configuration it is. It is a single hitch, it is a choker hitch, or whatever it is. I am going to prepare another slide based on the rigging preparation. What factors it includes, it affects the lifting capacity of the slings at a certain system, certain configuration. So site assessment, fourth is site assessment, comprehensive assess site condition, identify potential hazards, and establish exclusive zone for personal safety. I have already explained in the last slide. Then the procedure development, develop detailed lift sequence documentation and comprehensive emergency response procedure for contingencies. So what you will do first, what second, what third, what, and then you have to, if it fails, what you are going to do, how you have to recover. Then the pre-lift activity, conduct thorough pre-lift safety briefing with all team members I have explained, and perform controlled trial lift. Trial lift means you are lifting after doing all the arrangements, you are lifting uh, and wait for some time. How the things are reacting. So tandem lift, when and why two cranes are needed, that you have to understand. Load limitation, the first factor in the tandem lift when you are doing, then load limitations, when individual load exceed the capacity of available single crane, such as massive bridge beam, precast concrete panel, or industrial equipment modules. Maybe with the one crane you can use, but due to the site constraints or due to certain other factors, you have to use two cranes for the same load to lift and put it in the position. Then the site constraints, I explained physical limitation including restricted access routes, inadequate ground bearing capacity, or confined space that prevent the deployment of large cranes. You don't have place to place the 500 or 600, 700 ton crane. You have to use the 340 ton two crane, or maybe 140 ton two crane, whatever. It depends on the site condition. So load distribution, complex lifting scenario requiring strategic load weight distribution for enhanced stability, because the load is there, but you are lifting with one crane. If you lift, the load may tilt, so you have to balance with the two crane so that it can distribute equally and can lifting can be safely for enhanced stability, improve safety margin, and controlled positioning. Okay, so tandem lift, represent the pinnacle of precision lifting. Is it, you have to do the tandem lifting with a great precision, demanding exceptional coordination and planning exercise. So, tandem lifting planning, key challenges. What are the key challenges and safety risks? Load distribution management, as I have explained, you have an awkward load, or even if it is not awkward, how you are going to put the lifting points and how you have to put the slings, and then you are lifting. So you have to the load distribution in which crane, what, how much load it is coming. So critical decision between equal versus unequal load sharing arrangements between crane requiring precise engineering calculation to prevent overload condition. So it should not happen that you have 120 ton only that load, but but at a certain configuration that two cranes can lift only 80 ton. So it should distribute equally, or even if it is not exceeding, then you have to see that this crane can have the capacity to lift at the, even if load is coming to one crane, it should not, the boom should not get collapsed. So dynamic center of gravity in the tandem lift, the environmental forces include wind loading, internal fluid movement, or uneven load settlement can cause dangerous center of gravity shift during lifting. If you are lifting, the center of gravity shift, the load is going to be on another crane more than the you have planned. So that factor you have to consider. Synchronization requirement, both crane must move in perfect unison. If you have to move, if you are lifting, it should lift equally. Because slings is moving, wrapping from the ground, it is lifting and putting it at certain place. So both should move at a very precision, perfect unison throughout the entire lift sequence to prevent catastrophic side loading and structural failure. So that is very important. Advanced rigging system, complex rigging arrangements including equalizer beams, load spreading devices, and additional hardware to maintain proper load balance and distribution. Communication protocol is how you are going to communicate. Continuous crystal clear coordination between multiple crane operator, ground person, and lifting supervisors using established communication system, because then only it can move in the unison. Precision only can be achieved when both are operating at a single method. So tandem lift plan critical elements is comprehensive load analysis, so detailed engineering analysis including exact load, weight calculation, dimensional specification, precise center of gravity determination using certified drawing. That is the first point. The second is crane compatibility. Ideally, deploy matching crane model with similar operational characteristic to simplify synchronization and reduce operational complexity during the lifting. That is, you have to understand that what type of crane you have to use based on the load and how it is, and depending on the, as I have discussed, during the ground condition and the constraints, where the play, what are the places are there, whether you have to use lower capacity two cranes instead of using one crane with a higher capacity, you cannot keep it there. Engineered rigging design, utilize properly designed equalizer beam and load distribution system to prevent uneven load transfer and maintain structural integrity. So that is very, you have to understand that the load should be, the rigging design, it should be like this, that it should not go into the, because if it is of different length, for example, and if it is not moving unison, then the load will tilt and the load will go in another crane more, the center of gravity can shift. And then the coordination execution, establish detailed lift sequence with precise timing protocols, assign dedicated lift directors and implement comprehensive coordination procedure. Because the coordination, the two things are coordination is very important in the tandem lifting. I am telling you time and again. Then you have the risk management, conduct thorough risk assessment covering wind conditions, ground stability, because of the outrigger, the load, when it is lifting, the load is coming on the outriggers. So the ground condition, ground stability factors are very important. Proximity hazard, maybe overhead lines or over nearby a structure. And then you have to keep it the contingency plan in the same time. So in the real world, example, successful tandem lift execution. For example, you have a project of two crane, 350-ton crane and 250-ton capacity you are using. Successfully execute lifting of a 500-ton precast concrete bridge beam across a major motorway. Maybe it is just an example we are giving. Then the pre-lift coordination. First, you have to do comprehensive pre-lift safety meeting conducted with all personnel to thoroughly review lift plan detail, identify hazards, and confirm emergency procedure. Then third step is trial verification, controlled trial lift performed to verify load balance. I have told what is the trial lift. Calculation, confirm crane synchronization capability and validate rigging system performance. Whether what arrangement you have made is what slings you are using, how it is performing, it is tilting or it is operating perfectly. Then equipment integration, engineered equalizer beam system deployed to maintain consistent load stability and prevent dangerous load transfer between the two cranes. In the tandem lift, mainly we are using the spread bar so that it can equally distribute and load should not get imbalance or the center of gravity will not shift. So flawless execution, continuous radio communication protocol ensures perfect coordination between operator resulting in safe, efficient placement without incident. So communication and working in synchronized manner is very important. So common pitfall and how to avoid them is center of gravity miscalculation. That is very dangerous. Ignoring potential center of gravity shift during lift operation lead to dangerous crane overload condition and catastrophic accidents. Improper crane positioning, poor initial crane placement create instability risk, dangerous side load condition, and compromise the entire lifting operation safety. So where you have to put the crane, that also is very important. I'm telling you, synchronization breakdown, inadequate operator coordination and communication failure result in uncontrolled load sinking, dropping incident, and potential equipment damage. So synchronization is very important. All should work with one mind, one way, in the unison, in one way. Rigging equipment failure, using insufficient rigging strength rating. For example, at one point it is coming 20 ton or maybe 120 ton. You are using only 80 ton. At a certain configuration of the slings, then it can fail. So environmental, if you are not seeing oversight, inadequate environmental risk assessment leave operations unprepared for changing weather condition and unexpected site hazards. So you have to consider the environmental insight so that you can do the lifting operation safely. So to conclude, mastering crane lifting plan for safe, efficient operator, then all HSE officer should have, or HSE professional, you should have the planning excellence. Meticulously planning combined with competent supervision represents the non-negotiable foundation of successful lifting operation. Okay. Second is technical mastery, understanding complex load dynamics and crane operations capability prevents accidents, save lives, and protect valuable assets. The third is the tandem expertise. Tandem lift demand extraordinary attention to synchronization, advanced rigging system, and flawless communication protocol. Because if you don't have the proper if one is telling move with this speed slow, there is a how they are going to rope the in the drum the lifting slings, that they will have to fix it. And continuous improvement, strategic investment in comprehensive lifting training programs, detailed planning process, and thorough trial lift ensure operational success. Okay, so together we lift safely and build confidently, creating the infrastructure that support our communities and economies. Thank you for watching this video, and I request all of you to to support and like my channel, subscribe my channel so that I can keep on preparing. Give your comments how you like the informations I am giving you and in what topics you need it. Thank you for watching.